Yo, what's up guys? How's it going? It's, well, as you can see, this is going to be my worm profile that I've showed my worm live tools a couple of days ago, I'm sorry. It's quite late at night. I'm really tired, so I thought I'd just quickly do this. Now, in the speed tools, you saw that I had a rabbit version and a different, sort of like a stun version, you could say, with like Kaiku's, Breakers, and Fossil Diners and Monster Reaper in there. But personally, I think the rabbit version is much better because it makes your offering to the snake deity, I don't know, whether that is better, much more live than it normally was. Right, let's get into the deck profile. 3 Alien Shock Trooper, really good card, best reptile, normal monster combined with high attack. 1900 beat sticks, it's pretty decent. One working, personally, you could run 2, or, well, you could run 2, but I wouldn't run 2. I run 1 because I always draw it. I even draw this card at 1, so you can imagine if I put it at 2. Never put it at 3, because that's just so bad. 1 Thunder King, bit of a shame. This deck quite like Thunder King at 2, but oh well, what can you do? 3 Worms X, you need for 3 Worms X. Pretty standard in Worms. 2 Carteros. You could put 3 if you wanted to. I mean, 3 doesn't make a difference, but 2's pretty. I just prefer 2 for some reason, because I normally get my Worms out a lot. 1 on this, pretty easy, they're practically all right. 3 Worm Yagin, it's like a flip compulse, pretty decent effect. Really good card against the extra deck in this format. 1 Rabbit, obviously for the Alien Shock Trooper. 1 Birdman, unfortunately, Birdman going to 1 did hurt this deck a little bit, but oh well, it's the badness, hopefully it'll come back up to 2 or 3 eventually. 1 Dark Hole, staple. 2 Smashing Ground, only because there is so much Blue Eyes. Honestly, there's so much Blue Eyes Maiden. I should have done a video about the Blue Eyes Maiden craze instead of Light Swarms, but there is so much. You could probably take these out after the Blue Eyes. You could probably side them in, even though this ain't really a side deck. 3 Duality, you hardly ever special summon, so 3 Duality is fine. 3 MST and 2 Lance, just because back row can hurt this deck quite a lot. You need your normal summons in this deck, and if they stop them, then you're in a bad spot. 1 Bottomless, because you can. 2 Mirror Force, because you can only run 2. 3 W Nebula Meteorite, probably the best support card in Worms. I mean, this card is so good. If you have 2 Worms on the field, and say you've got 2 cards in your hand, and you activate this on their end phase, not only will you get the flip effect monster, so you could either add or send one, bounce 1 card back, or not at all. But it flips both monsters back down in face down defense position. You draw 2 cards, obviously it depends on how many worm monsters you got on the field, but for example I had 2, so I draw 2, and then I get a special summon Worm King. So the pluses are insane. Only 2 offering to the snake deity. Basically, it's an Icarus attack for worms, for reptiles, sorry. So it's pretty decent. Only run 2 because in Blackwings you run quite a lot of monsters. In this, you don't run as many monsters. 1 Compulse, because Compulse is still really good. 2 Fiendish Chain, because it's Fiendish Chain. Stop effect monsters. Personally, I think it's better than Breakthrough Skill. Breakthrough Skill for me is only better than Fiendish Chain. Probably, depends really. Depends, but I still think Fiendish Chain is better than Breakthrough Skill. 2 Quarter Hunted. You need your worm monsters on the field. Otherwise, your W Nebula Meteorite is worthless. Extract. one Stardust. I don't know why it's in here if you ask me. It's for the Starlight Road. I was actually putting one Starlight Road in. I was just fearing a torrential. Because if you apologise for that. I think not my laptop. If they torrential after you activate Nebula Meteorite and you've got 3 monsters on field, that is, it's not a good spot. I'm telling you now. But it was practically useless. I mean, you could take this out. I mean, you could rearrange, change deck as much as you like. One Gen X Ally Triforce. This is for Birdman. Shane Birdman got hit to 1. Basically, it's a level 7. I was going to say rate 7. Level 7 synchro. Just ignore all the earth and fire effects because you're going to be synchroing with light. So let me just read the light. Once per turn, you can select one light monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face down position. So it's got synergy with Worm Yagin and Worm Carteros. So that's why I run it. One Utopia. Well, the rest are going to be all rank 4s. I mean, you can rearrange changes. I would keep 2 King of Feral Wimps because you search most of your deck with this card. Search all your reptiles. 1 Photon Papilloperative, 1 Evil Gishki Marigus. This card is actually pretty decent. Pretty decent against like Shining Angel, Giant Rat. Cards like that. Cards that get sent to the graveyard get sent back to the deck with this effect. So it's not actually a bad rank 4. I quite like this card, but there obviously are so much better options. Corn, pretty much a staple in everyone's extra deck nowadays. I was testing this card out, Huge Rock Palm Giant Hand. Yeah, it did okay. I didn't really go into it much though. Diamond Direwolf, well, basically a scrap. It's an XYZ scrap. Dijin, yeah, pretty obvious. Navarro Chain, just so I can get into my worms. Diagusta Emerald, Recycle. This duel, you know, pretty obvious for graveyard specific monsters. And Cowboy for Cowboy Endgame. As I said, the side deck is just random. You can, you know, this card did pretty well for me, which was weird. It just flipped and destroyed one spell or trap card. It's quite funny, but you know, it's okay. You could run Book of Moon. Book of Moon ain't in a bad card in this deck, but I just don't want Book of Moon. Could run 3 of these if you wanted to. Solemn, it's a good trap, but I'm just not liking it, this format. To me, there's just so much other better than traps on Solemn Warning. I'm not saying Solemn Warning is bad, but I just rather run Bottomless, Compulse, Torrential sometimes more than Solemn. That's just my opinion. Biggest weakness of this deck: if you don't have a Worm monster in your hand by turn 3, it's game over. It may be even game 2 if you're playing against a really speedy deck. Like Murmurs, maybe. Murmurs, Dragon Rulers. But this is just a fun deck. I mean, it did well in some of my games. Yeah, but as I said, if you don't draw it by turn 3, you just easily lose. I mean, the best play it could do is just open up with Rabbit. I open up with Rabbit more times than you actually think. It's quite weird. It seems in this deck, I open up more with like cards that are 1 than cards that are 3, which is quite weird, but hey, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this deck profile. Let me know any changes you would make. Of course, you know, you can rearrange, change your deck as much as you like. This is just my build, how I liked it. But anyways, hope you've enjoyed it and have a good day.